Test one. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. That looks okay. Okay. And go live. Good morning, everybody. Adrian, CEO, founder of Groundhogg, here for another session of Office Hours. It's Tuesday morning here in Canada, 10:01 a.m., and we are answering questions and talking about one of our most popular extensions for consultants and speakers and various other different niches, and that is the Booking Calendar. So I invite you to pop in with your questions, and I invite you to just join me if you're here for the sake of learning. We're going to be covering a great many questions about the booking calendar and some neat use cases and some ways that you can implement it successfully in your business, as well as just covering general features. If you have questions at any point related to the booking calendar or any of the topics that we discussed today, feel free to just pop those in the chat. I am monitoring it live, and I can see David's joined me. Hi, David. And just feel free to pop in and drop your question. We'll get to it in turn. If not during the session, just before we finish the session. We have until around 10:45, 10:30, 10:45, somewhere in there to do office hours today. So a couple things before we get started. If you're joining me and you just want to pop in and test the chat works and say hi, I'd welcome to say hi back. So just go ahead and do that. And again, any questions, you can just type those in the comments as well. Another announcement, office hours are now on Groundhogg Academy. So you can go to academy.groundhogg.io and go to office hours, which is actually just linked in the menu. And from this point on, we will be posting all recorded office hours sessions there with some descriptions so you can search them and stuff. Useful links that we talk about, etc. will be posted there as well. The previous two office hours are in there, so number 29 and number 28. I had to download those from Facebook, so they're not super great quality, and then I had to re-upload to YouTube. So again, suffering on the quality there, but at least the audio is pretty good. But I'm recording these locally now, so we should get better quality for recordings moving forward. And again, on Groundhogg Academy. So these are the questions we're going to be covering today. We are going to be talking about why we built the booking calendar extension, why it exists, in what scenarios will it work, if you can connect it to your work calendars, and we're going to also be answering the question if you want to charge for appointments and what are your options for charging for appointments. So without further ado, we'll dive into it. So just so you know, you can go learn more about the booking calendar and all of its features on groundhogg.io /downloads /booking calendar, and I'll just paste that in the what the heck happened? There we go. That was weird. And I'm just going to post that link in the booking or in the comments area, so you can go ahead and click on that. We built the booking calendar to essentially, again, one of our missions is to replace as many SaaS software as a service products as possible, so that you can have your whole business essentially hosted on your WordPress site. There are a lot of things that can be replaced. Some things can't be replaced, like an email client, for example, but we can get pretty close. And appointments seems like a natural progression of things that could be self-hosted but currently aren't. The booking calendar is really meant to be sort of like a Calendly replacement. If you're familiar with Calendly, it is a great tool that we actually use for ourselves because we started using it before we made the booking calendar. But Calendly is what we use, for example. And it essentially allows people to go to a specific booking link and create an appointment with you, and it like syncs to your calendar, and it can schedule Zoom appointments and stuff, and it just makes like the whole booking process automated and super easy. So with this, you will be able to manage your calendar from both WordPress as well as from Google, because Google integrates with this extension. You'll be able to send people booking links so they can book appointments on your site, and lots of cool stuff that we're going to get into in a moment. But really, the purpose of this particular extension was to replace tools like Calendly, Schedule Once, Appointment Core. The list goes on. In what scenarios will it work? So the booking calendar is really purposed for consultants, service-based businesses, salespeople, really anyone who's going to be performing one-on-one appointments. Meaning it's like a one person talking to one person on the phone or maybe on a Zoom call, however, but essentially it's that based on that interaction. It's not really for, booking, let's say, slots for like rentals or anything. There are better platforms suited for that, but this is really focused towards empowering salespeople and consultants to talk one-on-one with their clients. So if you find yourself in that position, then this is definitely something that you can get to work for your business. So let's jump in for a moment, and I'll actually show you a little bit about this extension. So the calendar extension, I already should have it. This is the wrong site. Is it this one? No. Groundhog. So I have my calendar extension in here already. So I'm going to open up my calendars, and I don't have any calendars at the moment, so I'm going to just add a new one. I am going to select an owner for this calendar. So the owner, so every calendar has an owner. This is the person that is responsible for all appointments in this calendar. I can only have one owner. I'm going to give it a name, and I'm going to maybe call this like the name of what I want this to be used for. So let's say I am doing a 15-minute demo. And then I'm going to give a description. This description is actually visible to many of the users, kind of like just a general appointment description of what's going to happen on the call maybe. So for example, I will put, we will walk you through how the booking calendar works in 15 minutes or less. Something along those lines. I'm going to add my calendar. And then it's going to auto create the rest of the settings for me based on defaults and lots of good stuff. So from this screen, I can do a lot of things. I can view all of the pending appointments within my calendar, so I can have a look at those. I can manually create new appointments for contacts that are in my list. I can set my availability for this specific calendar, super important, so that you can decide when I do not want to be able to accept appointments. I'm going to delete Saturday and Sunday because I do not want to work on the weekends, or do not at least want to take appointments on the weekends. I am going to specify that someone needs to book at least 1 day in advance, and that they can only book 3 months into the future. So let's go ahead and update our availability. I can set all of the various different emails that I want people to receive. So notification emails that go out to them, such as their appointment booked email. So I can send them their appointment start time, their appointment end time. I can send them some notes about the appointment. Lots of stuff can be merged in there. Very cool. I can also add additional reminder emails, so I don't even need to go through a funnel to do this. It's all right here within the calendar builder. I am just simply going to add additional reminders. Let's say I want a reminder to go out 1 day before an appointment, and then I want to send a specific email. I can go ahead and edit that email. It's all very cool. I can then specify any admin notifications I would like to receive. So if I want to receive admin notifications, again, just meaning, hey, listen, someone booked an appointment with you, or you have an appointment coming up. Stuff like that, you are able to do that from this page. So you can choose when you want those notifications to come, and then you can specify what kind of notification text you want to receive and on what dates you want to receive those. If you have the SMS extension enabled on your site, then you can also send SMS notifications on top of everything already. So that person or whoever booked that appointment will definitely not be missing their appointment with the amount of reminders that you're able to send. These are optional. You can enable or disable those SMS notifications. And then finally, you can see just a whole list of appointments that goes in or that you have coming up, kind of just in a list view versus in the overall just general calendar view here. So lots of good stuff to view from here. Some of the cooler stuff, though, is down at the bottom. So one of our questions that we wanted to answer was, can I connect it with my work calendar? So currently the appointment calendar only connects with Google Calendar, but so many people use Google Calendar these days. If you're not, I highly recommend you do. It's great. But you can sync appointments from Groundhogg to your Google Calendar. Just go ahead and click Connect to Google. It's going to bring you through the OAuth process. I am going to select the account that I want to authorize, allow, and then that's going to bring me back to my site. And with the Google Calendar successfully synced, I can now, it now shows all of the various different calendars that I have in my account. I am going to choose which calendars I want to use for availability. This means that I will only be able to have appointments booked when there are no appointments in those Google Calendars. So I do not want people to book calendars based on that calendar and based on, let's say, this calendar. I can also specify the Groundhogg or the Google rather appointment name, and it supports placements code. So I can be like appointment with full name of the contact, and then I can add additional details, maybe some custom meta information. I can say their site, maybe they gave me their site information is site URL or something like that. I don't actually have those meta codes available to me, but I'm just going to add them in there anyway for the purposes of demonstration. So cool stuff going on that front. You can add as much or as little information to this box as you want. One of the other cool things is that you can enable a Zoom integration as well. So let's go ahead and enable that. And then it's going to ask me to connect. I can go through the connection process. If you have a Zoom account, you can authorize it, authorize. And now when appointments are created in this calendar, a Zoom meeting will automatically be created, and that information will be added to the appointment description. So super cool stuff on that front as well. So the location of the Google appointment will be set to the Zoom meeting. So super, super, super cool. Lots of good stuff happening there. That way, if you're doing one-on-ones, just automatically does all of the heavy lifting for you. I'm not seeing any comments or stuff coming through. Is it working, Nancy? Sorry, I accidentally exited out of the browser tab, and now if there are comments coming in, I'm not sure if they actually are. Can you verify that? Nancy? Are the comments working?
I think so, yes.
Can you just type one in for me? Yeah, okay, it is working. All right, so I guess I must be just really good at explaining it because I'm not seeing any questions come in. If you do have questions and maybe you came in late, then do not hesitate to pop those in to the chat at any point in time, and I'll be happy to answer them. And there's actually, okay, so now that I've tested that, they're actually coming through now. So Josh is asking, what would appointment approved be? So approved appointments, so that's basically just your basic validation, kind of like comments. You approve them or you cancel them or they're marked as pending. So when you add a new appointment or when a new appointment is added through a calendar, it comes in as pending, and then you can either approve it or cancel it. If it's approved, it just essentially shows as approved. So maybe that means something different to you. or based on your systems and processes, you can see which appointments you actually want to show up to based on approved or pending. They all get added to the Google Calendar regardless of status. So that's something important to acknowledge. But this is basically just an internal system for you to use in order to keep track of your appointments if you want to use that. Otherwise, you can just leave them all in pending and you can treat them exactly the same way. So hopefully that makes sense. So once you're finished setting up your calendar and everything's working nicely and you're happy with the information, then what you can do is let's head on over to the kind of like calendars page here. And there are a couple options. So we have a short code, which if you're familiar with short codes, you can just paste anywhere on your WordPress site to embed it. And we also have the hosted URL. The hosted URL can be used to just send to people, and that way you don't have to bother with putting up a page and designing a page, and it'll show up on a pre-configured page that'll look something like this. So it's just a blank page with a white box on it, and it has all of the various different calendar information that you need, and you can send that to your clients. Zane has a question. Speaking of SMS, what is the best practice for adding in SMS messaging in conjunction with emails? In other words, do you recommend the Twilio extension versus other methods such as Amazon SNS? So it really depends on what's important to you. So Amazon is cheaper and it's definitely easier to set up if you already have AWS SCS. So it keeps all your billing in one place. So that's kind of nice. But Twilio is really more of a dedicated SMS sender. So you have a consistent number and people can actually reply to that number. With Amazon SNS, you cannot reply to text messages, which is kind of a bummer. But if you're only doing outgoing transactional messages, then not much of a big deal. So it really depends on what's important to you. I would recommend Twilio as a default just because it allows consistent phone number branding as well as replying to text messages. So hopefully, Zane, that answers your question. So the calendar, which we have now, has a couple things going for it. It's got the calendar name or the calendar title that we originally set. Down here is the calendar description that we set, and it also shows the appointment duration. So in our settings, our appointment is set to be 1 hour. So that is how that's working right there. So I will then choose a date, and once I do that, it will load the appointment slots for that particular date. I can also click back to go back and choose a different date. And let's say I want to book an appointment at 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then I will be able to enter all of my information, book, and now my appointment is booked successfully. You can change this message that shows here. You can also redirect to another page if you want, and that can be done through the settings as well. Did I miss a question from Jesse? It looks like I did, maybe. I don't see it there, though, so that's odd. Oh, where am I going here? There we go. So that's the actual visuals of the calendar and how that works. It's a pretty simple process. It's pretty no frills as far as it goes. And that is kind of how that works. So super exciting stuff on that front. Next, one of our next question was, if I want to charge for appointments, what are my options? So this is a question we get a lot. Maybe you want to do paid appointments or something along that front. So at the moment, the Google Calendar does not have an inbuilt transaction system available for it. However, that being said, we do have a transaction system available for Groundhogg, and it's called Really Simple Payments. So Really Simple Payments supports both Stripe and PayPal, and it allows you to set up order forms right within funnels to walk people through a sales process. It's pretty comprehensive. It's got all of the admin stuff that you would expect, so you can refund payments and manage subscriptions and stuff, and that's another thing. It can handle subscriptions quite well. So super cool stuff on that front. So if you have the really simple payments extension, what you can do is you can set up an order form on your site, and then the order form, you'll be able to redirect people to, let's say, the hosted version of the booking calendar once their payment is complete. So let's see if we can quickly set up something that looks like that. So I am going to quickly download this, and let's install it. Is it already installed? Here, let's just delete it and reinstall it just in case. Install. And let's go ahead and activate it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly create a funnel. I'm going to start from scratch. I am going to call this paid bookings for now. I'm going to add a payment form. And let's say it's a 15-minute meeting. I want to charge $9.99 for this meeting, or let's say $2.50 an hour for an hour meeting. I'm not going to set it to a recurring subscription because I don't need it to be. I am going to collect a billing address because that's important. And I am going to want to redirect to my calendar once someone completes that payment so that they can book their appointment with me. Just like that. And I think that's good to go. I just have to quickly configure some of my really simple payment settings. So USD, and I am going to set it to there. Store country, Canada, and let's just save that stuff for now. I am going to connect to Stripe. Your account cannot connect to itself. Can I do that one? Yeah, all right, let's just do that one. Connect. Boom, look at that. So our Stripe is all set up in test mode, which is super cool. And we're good to go. So I can create or go view that funnel that we just made. Oh, what's going on here? This is a dev site, so it looks like we got a couple errors for some reason. Let's go grab our short code for the payment. And not sure what's going on there. But we're going to add our payment form to our page. And there we have a payment form in test mode. Let's go ahead and fill out our information. Pay now. And that should complete successfully, and boom, we're taken to our booking calendar at the end of it, so we can go ahead and complete our booking. So it's a little bit of a roundabout way to do payments, but I think it works. So whenever someone wants to book an appointment, you just got to send them to the payment form. They pay for their 15 minutes, And when they're done, they're taken here, and their receipt and stuff is sent to them via email and all of that good and whatnot. So that is how you can simply accomplish payments for your booking calendar. You can do the same thing with this using WooCommerce or Easy Digital Downloads or any other payment process that you already have. And just after they complete payments, send them the booking link in order to book their meeting. Easy stuff on that front. So hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully that answers some questions about how to collect payments for appointment bookings. Let's go back to our funnel for a second. And I am going to deactivate the really simple payments plugin because it is generating an error on my site. There we go. So you can also deeply integrate with funnels using the booking calendar. And the way you do that is we have various different benchmarks for the booking calendar. It's actually just called Booking Calendar right there on the Benchmarks tab. And you can select to start or stop automation based on a single calendar that you choose and when a specific calendar or a specific appointment event happens. So appointment created, rescheduled, approved, or canceled. So someone was asking why I use approved, canceled, and pending and all of that stuff. So if you want to work that into your flow, then what you can do is you can use these different actions for when it is either approved, canceled, etc., to run specific automation within a funnel. So someone was asking that earlier. So here's another reason why you may want to work using the approval or the changing of appointment statuses within your workflow. So you can use this booking calendar benchmark within a funnel to, let's say, start an onboarding series or to apply certain tags. And you can also follow up, use it as a long-term nurture follow-up. So let's say, that I wanted to start a nurture series leading up to an appointment. I might want to send out the reminders and stuff from the actual appointment calendar, but I might want to send some indoctrination stuff ahead of time. So send a couple of emails from a typical appointment indoctrination sequence. Maybe tell them what you're going to learn about, and that's not the right thing. I want to add a send email step. There we go. So I'm going to send them an email, tell them what we're going to talk about, what they can expect, how long the call is going to take, and you can send emails leading up to the actual date of the appointment. So easy stuff. If there are any questions, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. Just post your comments below, and I'd love to be able to answer any of those questions for you. Kim Morse is asking, that's in reply to Dermot. So Dermot said, you can integrate one Zoom account with only one calendar. So if you sync your Zoom account with another calendar elsewhere, it removes the connection with the previously synced calendar. Okay. So someone was asking about, can you sync more than one calendar to a booking calendar and more than one Zoom account to a booking calendar? So let's go back to our calendars here. And we're going to go to the settings. Here we go. So our Zoom and Google account information is at the bottom. Now, you can only connect one Google calendar or one Google account to one calendar, to one booking calendar in Groundhogg. So that's a one-to-one relationship. However, if you have, let's say, many different sales staff and your calendars are dependent on each other, then what you can do is you can share calendars among each other, and then any of those shared calendars will also show up within the sync options, and these will be used again for your availability. So if let's say Nancy's calendar here, I don't want to be booked when Nancy is booked, I can use Nancy's calendar for availability because she shares her calendar with me. So that is something you can do, but you can only connect one Google account to Groundhogg at a time per calendar. So if you have multiple calendars on your site and they each have different owners, then you can connect those different Google accounts to different booking calendars in Groundhogg. The same way it works with Zoom. You can only connect one Zoom account to one specific calendar. However, you can use multiple different Zoom accounts for multiple different booking calendars in Groundhogg. So it's, again, keeping a one-to-one relationship, but it's on the calendar level, which means if you have different salespeople or people with different Zoom booking links, etc., then you can use those different booking links and calendar, or rather Zoom information for different calendars within Groundhogg. So that is the way that works, and hopefully that answers Jesse's question earlier, which I think I missed, as well as what Kim is asking here. So hopefully that answers your question. All right. I think I'm at the end of what I want to show about some of the interesting calendar and booking calendar features. I think I've covered what it would be useful for. Again, it's really useful for consultants, salespeople, and those of you who are doing one-on-one appointments with each other, or with your customers, rather. I mean, you can do it with each other. You do you. If there are any questions, I would love to hear them in the comments. Otherwise, we're reaching the half-hour mark, so I'd love to be able to answer any other questions that you have, regardless of whether it's related to the booking calendar or not. Now would be the time to ask those, since we're kind of at the tail end of the booking calendar conversation. Wow, I'm looking at the delay. The delay is real. It's about at least 15 seconds. So if you have questions, again, now is the time. If not, I think we're going to start wrapping office hours up this week and leave any other questions till next week. Totally up to you. If you want to ask questions, now is definitely the time to do so. Okay, so it doesn't look like we have any questions coming in. If you happen to get one in before I end office hours, I will answer it, so don't be shy. Otherwise, let's just start wrapping it up. So let's talk about some cool stuff. So most of you have been around who are on the call right now, because I can see your names. But if you're watching this after the fact and you haven't been around that long, we now have something called Groundhogg Academy. Lots of courses available. Well, there's 2 free courses available on Groundhogg Academy right now, as well as our brand new certified partner training. So you should go ahead and check that out. It's academy.groundhogg.io. We have a wealth of certified partners, and we have new certified partners coming in. They are available to help you with your implementation troubles and your woes, and making sure that Groundhogg is working for you at full capacity. And you can go check that out on our certified partner directory, link listed there. As well, if you have someone that you think might benefit from using Groundhogg, maybe a colleague, a friend, maybe a family member who's also in business, then what I highly recommend you do is you go to our affiliate registration, you register yourself as an affiliate, and then you send them your affiliate link and have them sign up. We will reward you 10% commissions for that transaction. So if you're not an affiliate already, you can go ahead and get yourself signed up. So you can, if you're spreading the word and you are helping Groundhogg grow, then I think you deserve to be rewarded for that. And we are more than happy to approve your affiliate application. Many of you are not following us on a lot of our channels. Did you know that we also have Twitter and YouTube as channels that we are expanding and using daily? So go ahead and follow us on Twitter. It's /GroundhoggWP. And then subscribe to us on YouTube. I haven't been able to get the fancy URL link on YouTube yet. So we have a short link there, groundho.gg /YouTube will get you to our YouTube channel. Subscribe. We are posting this office hours session on YouTube, as well as going to go onto our Academy site. Again, if you're coming in late, office hours are now on Groundhogg Academy. We'll be publishing all of the recordings of our sessions there on every Tuesday, as well as publishing them on YouTube. If you have not yet left a review, reviews help us grow. They help us get more customers, which means we can get more developers, which means more features and great content that you want and love. If you have not left a review, I'd be eternally grateful if you would take 3 minutes at the end of this broadcast to go and do so. It's just on our WordPress.org repository page /plugins/Groundhogg. If you have questions at the end of this broadcast, or you weren't able to ask your question during the live session of office hours, you can continue commenting on this on the live post or on the live feed, and we will respond. You can also answer or ask questions rather on when it's posted on the Groundhogg Academy. There are comment sections available there, and you can post your questions there. And you can also, as always, ask us anything on both Facebook and Twitter, or send an email to info@groundhogg.io, or post in the Facebook group. Lots of ways for you to get, or lots of ways for you to ask questions, and lots of ways for you to get answers. So thank you, everyone who decided to take their Tuesday morning and spend it with me. I am grateful. I will see everybody at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week, and I will see you all soon. Thank you, and everybody have a wonderful day.